A significant and troubling development in the COVID-19 outbreak in Northern California. We now have what appears to be the first person in the United States to catch the virus through what is called community spread. Now that means the person didn't travel to any high-threat region or come into any known contact of someone else who is infected. It means that the coronavirus may be circulating in some places in the country undetected. A public health officer in California gives a press conference and says it is still unknown where the first U.S. case of novel coronavirus was exposed to the virus.
That the CDC has confirmed that a Solano County resident has been identified with coronavirus with no known exposure to a coronavirus positive individual and with no travel history. The implications of that being that this person appears to be a community acquired case of coronavirus, which would be the first here in the United States. It's also worth noting that most respiratory diseases that we experience come with a range of symptoms from asymptomatic to very severe. And it's very unusual for a respiratory disease not to have some element of transmission from people that are either not showing symptoms or showing very mild symptoms. So this type of spread is not at all unusual and is something that we've been expecting and that we've been planning for. And with regard to the individual in question, this patient, we don't know what their exposure was. So at this point, we don't know where the patient was exposed. We know that the patient became ill, was hospitalized at a local hospital in our county.
Now, President Trump earlier tried to calm fears at a rare White House press conference, insisting the risk here, quote, remains very low. This is despite warnings from the CDC to Americans to begin preparing. Vice President Pence holds a task force briefing on the Trump administration's handling of the coronavirus outbreak. President Trump tapped the vice president to lead the task force, which also welcomed new members, including Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin and National Economic Council Director Larry Kudlow.
As Dr. Fauci and I spoke yesterday, but for the President's decisive action, not only in establishing this task force, but suspending travel to the United States from China, initiating quarantine efforts for American citizens, and declaring a public health emergency, the American people deserve to know we'd be in a very different place today.
The death rate, or what we call the case fatality rate, is about 2%, 2.5%. Whether that's the most accurate, we don't know.
The coronavirus crisis is growing in Asia and Europe. Japan's Prime Minister Shinzo Abe called Thursday on schools to close nationwide from March 2 for several weeks to prevent the spread of the virus. Nigeria also reported the first new coronavirus case in sub-Saharan Africa. The virus has proliferated around the globe over the past week, emerging in every continent except Antarctica, prompting many governments and businesses to try to stop people traveling or gathering in crowded places.
Okay.